So you hate to see it, man. People making the same mistakes again and again and again. Putting in work for females that send them off to do dirty work and get themselves booked, usually on murder and other stuff that gets them a lot of time in prison. So, anyways, prosecutors now have charged a Chicago woman with murder because she allegedly recruited her twin brother to shoot a guy that she claimed had beaten her up. So her name is Deshauna. She has a pending felony gun case when she drove her brother, whose name is Deshaun, so it's Deshaun and Deshauna, to the 100 block of West 113th Street shortly after 1 p.m. on April 30th of 2023. So they just solved this about a year and a half later. So Deshauna allegedly directed her brother to a nearby Chevy Malibu as a surveillance system recorded somebody yelling, "If anybody sitting in that car, toast it up." So a shot spotter soon detected 9 shots fired, and Chicago police officers responded to the scene and found a guy named Dante. He was 40 years old, dead in the Malibu's driver's seat. So there were 6 bullet holes in the car's back passenger window, and he had been shot twice in the right ear and twice in the right eye. So in a detention petition for Deshauna, prosecutors said that she had been beaten up the day before the shooting, and she recruited her brother to basically go get payback or go get revenge. So investigators allegedly uncovered text messages in which the siblings discussed the beating, and she identified the black Chevy Malibu as the assailant's car. So the judge detained Deshauna, and Deshaun has been jailed since prosecutors charged him in December. But Deshauna had a felony gun case pending at the time of the murder, and court records, they showed that a judge put out a warrant for her arrest after she failed to appear in court about 3 weeks before the shooting, and she picked up a second felony gun case about 2 months after the murder and was charged with carrying yet another gun when Chicago cops arrested her to face murder charges. So she is the 39th person accused of shooting, killing, or trying to kill somebody in Chicago last year while on felony pretrial release. And the crimes involved 55 victims, 22 died. So she sent her brother to go commit this murder. Okay, now this obviously begs the question, why didn't she just do it herself? Well, this is like the case that I talked about where a woman had called her husband after she had actually just pushed a guy, okay, and he didn't even touch her. She had pushed a guy, and then she called her husband, and she's like, you need to go, you need to come do something to this dude or whatever. So he gets there and kills the guy. Now he's sitting in prison. She wasn't even sitting in prison at the time that I last reported on that case. Now what's happened since then with that case, I actually haven't kept up with that. But whether or not this girl was telling the truth, we don't know. It appears that she was. However, what's questionable is whether or not they got the right guy. Because this guy's 40 years old. And typically, I mean, that's not the age range that would typically be hanging out with, a girl like this. She looks like she's probably in her 20s, maybe late teens. So whether or not this is the right guy, we don't know, because a lot of people, they get killed because they're in the wrong car. They're in a car that looks like, somebody else's car, and people ID the car, and they end up just killing the guy who's in the car. I told you guys, this has happened so many times in Chicago. This is why I keep on pounding this into people's heads. You need to get a car that, like, only lames drive, okay? You got to dress like a lame, drive like a lame. I mean, you have to basically live the life of a lame if you want to lengthen your lifespan in Chicago, man, because if you dress like you're with it, and when I say with it, I don't just mean like in the streets. I mean just like, you're trying to keep up with the style, whatever. If you dress or drive or whatever, like you're with it, you're probably going to be, wearing the same thing or driving the same thing as some gangbanger who's into it with somebody. Or somebody who's into it with somebody just is on some, nonsense street stuff. So I don't want to say like this guy beat her up because I have no idea if this is the right guy. And, if her brother, did he know if it was the right guy? But he's just stepping on his sister's orders. I mean, there's been way too many incidents, man, of females in Chicago sending guys off lying or getting it wrong and saying, this is the guy, this guy beat me up, this guy dissed me, so you need to handle this. I would never, bro. Even if it was my sister or my mom or somebody like that, if they tell me like, oh yeah, so-and-so did something to me, I mean, as much as I, may love them or whatever, I'm not going to step like that on their, on their orders, man. I'm going to say, okay, well, call the police, tell them ID the offender, tell them who did it, and they'll be charged with battery. That way, nobody's dead. You're still free. You don't have to worry about any criminal stuff. Now this guy could potentially be spending the rest of his life in prison because he stepped for his sister, bro. And not only that, but they're sending text messages. And it didn't say if they were sending text messages on, like, some social media app or something, but it appears that this was just like on their regular phones, which the police are going to confiscate and read all that stuff. So now they got all that as evidence, bro. I mean, the whole situation is just bad. You guys let me know what you think, though, in the comment section, man. And one thing I want to know, honestly, and this is an honest question that's going to be very difficult for you guys to answer. Would you step for a female? Is there any circumstance, any circumstance, like, would you ever step for a female? And if so, which female and under what circumstance? Personally, as far as killing somebody, my answer is no. Unless it was like direct, immediate defense. Like if somebody's coming after her right then and there on the spot, okay, but that's different because she's not ordering me to do that. I just see it happening and I do it. If she's telling me something happened, there's no way I'm taking her word for that to just go and do something. No way. For me personally, the answer is flat out no. You guys let me know what you think, though, in the comment section, man. Like, is there any female you would step for and under what circumstance? I see this happening way too much, man. This is what King Louis was talking about when he was saying, like, a lot of this stuff in Chicago was not gang violence, it's just random violence. My friend who's, like, he's been in this stuff, like, he's in this stuff, man. Like, he was telling me, like, man, probably at least 50% of the murders that are going on out here in Chicago now is involving females. And they're giving the orders? Like, bro, if you don't listen to the big homies on the block, if you don't listen to, the Larry Hoovers and guys like that, like the guys who were used to be the gang chiefs, like they can't be the chiefs no more because, and I know Larry Hoover's locked up, but I'm just using that as an example. Like other guys that are out here, trying to give orders, the shorties don't listen to them anymore. If you're not listening to the gang chiefs, but you're going to listen to a female that doesn't even like have any rank at all whatsoever over you at all, like, bro, this doesn't make any sense, man. You guys let me know what you think in the comment section, man. Your boy Chicago News. I'm out.